Well, guys, we're getting to that point in time again where our pin post long range forecast, the snapshot of expected weather periods well into the future, is coming to an end. The last one was released around April 2025 and it covered the months up until the current period, which is September. So I thought I'd add a few more dates now to see out the rest of the year to give you a bit of a sneak peek of when to expect the major systems outside of the patchy coastal stuff that is of little interest to most people. So for September, we have spoken about these a fair bit lately. The first one's the 3rd to the 5th. Initially, this will be focused in Western Australia. Most of the rain, if any, will be focused in Western Australia. Very little rain is likely to progress further through the southern areas into the southeast. There's another small window, 12th to 13th September. This is more of a strong frontal system containing predominantly winds, drier northwest flow. This may be a problem for early fire signals for the interior, particularly through South Australia and parts of the southeast where there's a lot of dry anomalies still. And the major cycle for September, again, is the 17th till 23rd of September. So this is the next national weather period where there's more potential for rain to extend further inland across multiple states. In October, we'll see storms slowly begin to build and thicken through the interior, mostly the central interior, central longitudes, with a slightly western bias. And then from around mid-month, a bit of an upper low will start to form through the interior, which will start to enhance these thunderstorms through the central longitudes once again. And then closer to, the start of week 4, the late part of week 3, an upper low will become transient, associated with the frontal system further south, and that'll push those storms well into the eastern states. So for widespread storms, October will be quite active, but there'll be thunderstorms, so highly sporadic, highly hit and miss. But within those, there will be some quite intense storms. At the end of the month, though, this is when the real wet period should kick off. It should be from the very last days of October, pushing into November. There's actually 2 periods in November. First one runs from around the 30th of October and should peak around the 7th of November. This will predominantly be a slow-moving, broad upper trough extending from eastern Northern Territory through much of Queensland, possibly south into parts of New South Wales. These are quite traditional for this time of year, where you get that broad northwest cloud band from the Arafura Gulf region, not so much the Indian Ocean. Following that, a secondary system forms closer to the 19th, and this will be slightly further west, so it'll be focused more through the Northern Territory initially, through Western Queensland, Eastern Northern Territory, possibly into northeast of South Australia. So this period will have a higher chance of storms reaching further south into the southeast interior. Again, the focus will be the north, largely due to the season. So people in the southeast, there will be some storms building, obviously, into this time of year. However, I personally believe these extended wet outlooks, which are already starting to trend drier, are just false hope. So just be preparing for a dry end to the year, particularly into the new year when we start to see this development of El Nino moving into 2026 for eastern states. The IED will peak September, October of this year, so it's almost at its peak phase. We should see the most of this influence through late September, and that aligns with the September weather period from the 17th to the 23rd, and also should aid in the building of storms through the interior through October. So there is only a marginal window left for the IED to have a direct influence on weather outcomes. So that's a bit of a wrap up on that. If you want to know the actual play-by-play with maps, detailed analysis, timeline of events, where and when, all of that is available on the website. Become a member. If you need a hand with your subscription, please reach out. I'm here to work with you. We can work together. We'll get the best outcome for both of us. Cheers.